Good morning, everyone. It's Lynn Dunn from Stamptastic Designs. Thanks so much for joining me today. So today we are going to play around with some of the products from the Take to the Sky suite from Stampin' Up. So I actually have, I think, 9 card ideas, working on a 10th, but I have 9 to share with you right now, which feature just one sheet from the Take to the Sky Designer Series paper. So it's kind of like a one sheet wonder. Although obviously I did use some additional designer paper to create the cards, but I'm going to show you the designer paper because it has a variety of different elements in it that you can cut out. And it's very easy to cut out and you can use it in your card making. So good morning, everybody. Good morning. I'm just going to turn my volume up here. So, okay. So these are the cards that we are going to, I'll just kind of walk you through these cards today. There's just a very simple design. I incorporated some images from the stamp set, and then I used some of those elements from the designer paper to create just some really cool cards. So I'm going to show you how to make these cards, but first I'm going to show you just the designer paper. So let me grab all this designer paper here, take it out of the pack. So this is the sheet of designer paper that I will be using. So you can see it has 6 tags on the bottom, and then it has 4, well, it actually has 6 sheets of just different patterns, different fun little elements you can use. And these are 3 by 4. I should know this. I should have known this already. 3 by 4, yes. So these are 3 by 4 inch pieces, these little sections here and up here. And then this one is 6. So, so this is what I use to create the cards. And it's really easy to just put this in your paper trimmer and just cut right along these lines to cut all these different elements out. And there's 2 different sheets in this particular paper pack. So you can create quite a few cards just using these elements that are already there for you. And then, of course, there's a variety of other different patterns in this paper pack. I like the fun little plaid type patterns, the little maps. Just some really cool little patterns that you can use to create a variety of different cards. I also used this cloud pattern. So this is a whole sheet of little clouds here. And you can easily cut these out with a scissors if you wanted to use them to embellish your cards, which is what I did with some of the cards that I will show you today. So it has some really cool colors. Some of the regal colors, like mossy meadow. Well, those are neutral: mossy meadow, night of navy, copper clay. Just some really cool colors. So these are the elements that I cut out. So from that sheet of paper, there's 13 of them. And so then you can use all these different elements to create cards or scrapbook pages or whatever you want to do with these little elements. So I'm going to show you a couple of card ideas today. And so we're going to let's start out with this one. So for this one, this is one of the elements that I cut from that one sheet of paper. And I'm using Mossy Meadow cardstock for the base of the card. And so basically I just cut some additional pieces of designer paper, some other pieces from that pack. So this one is 2 by 5.5, and that's just going to go right down the kind of center left of the card. And then this is just a 3/4 inch wide piece that is just going to go across. So I'll put this together for you and just show you how easy it is to just create some cards here. As soon as I can get my glue to work. Every time I come on live, I can't get this glue to work. So we'll add this. I'm going to add this towards the top. And then, like I said, these little elements in that designer paper, they already have images on them, like this one in particular. So you can just put that right on the card. and then you can embellish it however you want. And then I'm just going to put this 3/4 inch wide piece across the bottom. So it's 4 1/4 inches long. And that's basically the design. Oop, got a little glue on my hands. And then I added a little greeting. So in this particular set, I should show you the set. It's called Adventurous Sky, and it has a variety of different greetings in it, some different cloud images, and of course the plain images. So I used one of the greetings from this set, and then I used this large die here, which cuts out one of the large cloud images over here. So I just used that cloud die, and I stamped this on a scrap piece of white paper, just using some copper clay, and then cut it out with the cloud die, and that's what I'm using on the bottom of the card. So it's just kind of a fun way to add a greeting, just a little different way, I guess, to add a greeting. And so you can just pop that up. And then I added a little bit of linen thread just to kind of decorate it. So I'm just going to quickly show you how I did that. So basically, I just opened the card up and I just wrap this around twice. We'll wrap it around twice. And then we are just going to tie it in the center. So I'm not creating one of my long tail bows this time. Just creating just kind of a fun little tied piece of linen thread. So you can just scoot these over a little bit, kind of get your crisscross design. And then you just tie it in the middle. And you just tie it, and then you can just trim these little pieces down. So it's kind of a fun way to just add a little bit of linen thread without, creating a little bow. So sometimes when I'm creating more masculine style cards, I don't necessarily use a bow. I just use, a little bit of twine tied together. Let's trim this down a little bit more. There we go. So that's all I did, just to add a little bit more to the card. So pretty simple design, and you can actually make two of these style cards because there's two pieces of that pattern paper that has this particular element in it. So we'll put that to the side. Let's bring in this other one here. So for this one, I used another piece of that paper from that one sheet. And then I also used one of the tags. So this is one of the tags that I cut out from that sheet. And then it's the same kind of concept. I created my little greeting using that cloud. And then I just have a little scrap piece of paper. This is 2 3/4 inches long that I just kind of tucked behind the greeting. So I'll go ahead and add that right away. So we have that on there. So it's a great way to use up scraps to highlight your greeting like that. We'll set that aside. And what I did with this particular piece, because it doesn't go all the way across, I simply cut it. So I'm going to grab my paper trimmer here and just cut this. So you can just cut it right in half. It's 4 inches, so you can just cut it at 2. And then you'll have two pieces that you can use to create this card. And I just adhered one on each side because I wanted my paper to go all the way across. And the card base is smoky slate. So if you're wondering what color this is, that's smoky slate. And this blue in here At first I thought it was balmy blue, but it's actually boho blue. All right, so you just add those two pieces like that, and then you can pop this up on an angle. So I'm going to add some dimensionals and do that. And this is one of the tags from the designer paper, so I didn't have to do anything except for cut it out of the designer paper. And now I can just add it to my card front, and it'll make a really neat little card. So we'll just pop that up on a little bit of an angle. And then we will add our greeting down on the bottom here. So I'll just add some glue, maybe, if I can get my glue to work. And we'll just pop this up right there. And that's all there is to it, to that card. So how simple is that? And then this time I added some of these little industrial trinkets. So I'm going to show you what they look like. They're just little, kind of remind me of little, nuts without the bolts, or bolts. I don't know. I'm not a tool person. So basically you have to add it with some glue or whatever you want to put this on there. I'm just going to use a glue dot, and I just stick this right on the glue dot, push it down, and then add it to my card. So it's just kind of a fun way to decorate this one up. So really simple cards, you guys, that you can make with this designer paper. All right, so that is card number 2. Let's move this out of the way. And then here is another card idea. And again, it uses some of those little pieces that I cut out from the designer paper. So we're going to use a tag, and then we're going to use this piece here. And so for this one, what we're going to do is just start with a piece of Night of Navy cardstock. So basically I just took this piece and just adhered it to the side. So this is that 3x4-inch piece that's in the designer paper. So we'll just add that off to the side. And then I just have a little strip of kind of a scrap piece of cardstock, and this is where I stamped my little greeting. So it's 1 3/4 inches long here. It doesn't really matter the width. Let me find my stamp. So basically what I'm going to do is just stamp the little greeting on the bottom there. And I'm going to use my Night of Navy. Let's move this out of the way for a second. And hopefully I can get it straight. There we go. So we'll stamp that on the bottom. And then the way I put this card together is I just added this kind of went right up to the edge of this piece of paper. And then this tag will just go right across, kind of layered across. So I'm going to add this right away. We'll just glue it. That's why I said how high it is doesn't matter. This width part here doesn't matter because it's going to get covered up anyways. So we'll add that. So basically, whoops. Basically what we're doing is just taking all those pieces from that designer series paper, that sheet of designer series paper, and I'm just layering them all together. So I know the design on this particular tag is kind of sideways now, but you won't see it because I'm going to cover it up with a bunch of stuff. So, all right, so that's that. And then I just cut out one of the airplanes. So I just stamped this and cut it out with one of the dies in the set. and then we'll just pop it up. I used some copper clay ink to stamp this, and then just kind of popped it up kind of in the center here. And then you can use a variety of different cloud shapes. You can either stamp the clouds from, the set, use the set and stamp a bunch of different clouds like this, or you can just use the designer paper I showed you and just cut the little clouds out from there. So basically, you just kind of tuck them just kind of around the airplane here. I think I'm going to go, I cut different clouds this time. So now it's going to be a challenge. Let's do this. We'll do it like that. All right. So I'm going to put this one on there first. So we'll tuck this one in here. And then we'll tuck this one up towards the top here. Probably like that. So yeah, that's all I did is just cut these little clouds out with the scissors. I did cut them out with the scissors. If you decide to stamp them, you can cut them out with the dies, but if you decide to use the clouds that are in the designer paper, then you'll have to cut them out with the scissors. And then this one was kind of on the end, on the edge of the designer paper. So I'll probably just tuck that one right there. So let's trim this down. Make that a little more straight. And we'll put that right on the edge. And then I'll show you some of the other cards that I created. I won't walk you through them all, but I'll show you some of the other, layouts and things. And of course, I'll put these on my blog so that you guys can get the layouts there. But basically, if you just kind of play around with, those different elements in the designer paper, you can come up with a lot of different layouts. All right, so that is the third card. And then again, I just added one of these little trinkets with a glue dot. We'll just add that right there. All right, so fun. They're just really, I love the colors, and it's just a really fun little suite of products to play with. So that is the third card. So let me show you these. These are the three that I showed you how to make. Very quick and simple. And then here's just a couple other cards. So I'll try to show you the pieces that I used. So here is another card idea. And this one uses this particular piece from that designer paper. I just cut this down to 3 inches wide and 5.5 long, and then just added different elements to this one. So that one was that's actually one of my favorites. So, and then I have this card idea, again, just using some of the different elements in that piece of designer paper. So this one I used this particular tag, and then just some of the other designer paper. And I tried to use all of those elements, all 13 of them, to create these cards. So for this one, I used this and this tag. So these two. And then I did a little stamping in the background, added my greeting and, a little airplane there. So those are the two pieces from the designer paper. And then this one, I used this piece, which I cut from the designer paper. So that's just a 3x4 that goes right in the center there to create that really fun little design. And this piece, let's see, I have a tag that I used for this. So I just cut down the tag and just kind of added a piece of designer paper behind it. So I used that little tag. And then for this last card, I used this piece, this little element from the designer paper. So if you guys are just joining me, this is where I got all the elements. They all come from one sheet of designer paper. You get the tags, 6 3x4s, and then you get this larger one with the airplane. So that's how I created these 9 cards. I do have one tag left over, so I can create a 10th card. So right now I have 9, but I can create 10. I just haven't had a chance to use that one yet. So I thought I would just come on and show you guys just some fun ways that you can use that designer paper to create some really quick cards. And they are really quick to create because the paper's already cut for you. So you just need to add or already, sectioned off for you. You have to cut it. But the paper is already ready for you to go. You just have to cut it down and add your little elements. And you can create some really fun cards. All right. So yeah, I really like the masculine style. Sometimes it's a little more challenging to create masculine themed cards. I'm really good with flowers and butterflies and all that kind of stuff. But when it comes to creating, cards that don't have all the flowers and butterflies, it can be a little challenging. So I hope you guys enjoyed these card ideas. Like I said, I'll get them out on the blog for you, and I'll show you, put the dimensions on there for the other pieces of paper that I added, but it'll just give you a good start if you have this suite for using that whole sheet of designer paper. So, all right, you guys. So that's what I have for you today. You can learn more about the Take to the Sky suite by clicking on the link that I have featured in the description with this video. So just go on out to the Stampin' Up website and you can take a peek at that suite. And then I'll get these up for you on the blog later today. So I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day and a great week. And I will see you guys again next week. So take care, everybody.